Listen. All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to What's Good Music Podcast. This is not Gavin hosting. This is actually Zach.
I'm still here, but I'm letting Zach take the lead on this one today. This one's more of his favorite album than mine, but I still enjoy a good bit of it.
Listen, like when you asked me this question, and it's been this podcast has been weeks in the making. Obviously, different schedules coming up, and then just weekends being busy, and I have my own stuff. But like actually, finally taking the time to sit down, and I listen to this album constantly, but to actually take the time to actually sit down and just kind of relive some of the moments. What we're about to get into is a little bit of like a nostalgic feel for me, to be honest, just because of the timeline of how everything happened with the album itself, but also like where like we were during that time, just like back in high school, just rolling. Like it creates a different type of feel, and I think once we kind of get into it, you'll see like there's a lot more memories to it, to where like this is why it's one of my favorite albums. But we're taking a little bit of a different switch up. Again, I'm taking the lead on this one. Gavin's in the passenger seat. He did say before we get going, a little bit earlier, that there's going to be a few songs that he knows is gonna grind my gears. So I'm looking forward to it. But this is gonna be good. I'm excited for it. Again, like I said, it's a long time coming. Sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather. I've been fighting a sinus infection the last 2.5 weeks, so still kind of a little backed up. But yeah, I think we're gonna get into it. So in retrospect, the album that we're going to talk about today is Chris Brown's F.A.M.E. album.
Chris Brown's F.A.M.E. album, yeah, like he said, this came out when we were in high school. I was actually a grade lower than Zach, so this came out my freshman year. Mm-hmm. So I'm just getting into high school, and I've been a Chris Brown fan way before that, but again, this was his first album after the whole domestic violence incident with him and Rihanna, so we had no idea if he was done, if he could never come back from that.
He was the first cancel culture. Pretty
much, yes. He was. Before cancel culture was the thing.
He's the patient one. Listen. Yeah, it was timeline-wise, I want to kind of get... obviously, we're going to go over a few songs. I don't want to go in line each track like we have the last few podcasts.
Do you still want to talk about every track, or
I mean, we're going to touch base on a good bit of them. We're not going to go in depth on a few of them.
Okay.
But I want to kind of go over the storyline of what it means to me, kind of take you back to like what I feel and my perspective of how everything kind of came out, why it's one of my favorite albums, and pretty much just like it's free flow. I want to do something different. I want to make sure we have good conversation on all of it throughout. And if you have any takes on any songs that you want to be on the opposite end of, by all means.
Of course.
I mean, this is what we're here for. So, do you have anything to add before we get started?
Not really, sir. I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, obviously, F.A.M.E. Chris Brown's, this is his fourth studio album. This is the Grammy album. This is his first Grammy. Won Best R&B Album back in 2012. It was released in early 2011. Excuse me. So with this album, it has an expansion version. We're not going to do the expanded version.
Yeah, I just did the first 13 tracks.
Yep. Exactly. So with this album, the first 13 tracks that were released, that was the main album. Then obviously Chris Brown released an expansion album that had an additional 4 or 5 songs, I believe.
Just say bonus tracks, pretty much.
Bonus tracks. And they're originally released like internationally. It was an international expansion pack, pretty much. That's what it was kind of labeled as. One of my favorite songs, actually probably my favorite song, is on the expanded pack.
Oh, really?
But we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
I'll touch base on it, but we're not going to go in depth with those songs. So we're going to stick to the first 13. We're going to go in depth a little bit of my favorite songs, I'll probably do like a top 3. I'll kind of ask Gavin what kind of songs he was feeling, what songs he wasn't feeling, because this is, like I said, this album came out in 2011. So in that era, you got to think this album is a little bit of more of dance hall, like R&B, Euro pop, electro, disco type of feel.
A couple of dance tracks on it.
Yeah. So like when you think about that time, we're thinking of Dynamite by like I think Teo Cruz. You got Flo Rida out there. You got Right Above It by Wayne. That was kind of like a little bit of a electro like rap feel back then as well. And we can go down a list of like all the hits that came out in 2011, and they had that feel to it.
Yeah, I would say most of the singles off this album were like top tier on the charts for like 2010, 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
And they're still Chris Brown classics today. I wrote which ones I felt were classics, and the ones that I like, I always go back to when I'm feeling like listening to some Chris Brown.
Exactly. There are 6 singles off this album. Kind of go off of it. Look at Me Now with Wayne and Busta, She Ain't You, Yeah 3X, Next to You with JB, and Wet the Bed with Luda, and Beautiful People. I believe Beautiful People was the last single to be released.
Well, I know Deuces was definitely a single.
No.
It definitely was.
No.
Well, definitely got leaked because I had it way before.
It was because it was supposed to be on his mixtape.
Because that was the first song I heard before. Like I heard Deuces in 2010.
Yeah.
I had it before. I had it that summer before I went to high school.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in his mixtape in the Zone, but it was such a big hit. Yeah. Obviously, like
and then the video was cool, and he had Tyga and Kevin McCall on it, and I thought it set a really good tone for the whole album.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, this whole album is kind of going through the mixed emotions of in a relationship. Like that's pretty much the retrospect of the whole album. Some positivity looking into it, obviously, with the electro Euro pop kind of feel songs, and then you have songs like this. You have some songs where he's getting verses off, and then you kind of get back. They had a good ratio.
I would think like Look at Me Now was like one of the first examples we saw of Chris Brown actually rapping,
like speed rapping. There's some stories that I want to get in with that too as well.
Okay.
But obviously I kind of want to just take you back to what this means to me. This is one of my favorite albums just because of how concise it was. Like I can play this all the way through, no skips, no nothing. And I know every song,
every word,
every song.
Hell yeah,
every song. And it's just, again, so this came out. It was released in 2011. Back in that time,
I think it was like August, September-ish. Yeah.
I think back in March. So it was early 2011. But I really didn't divulge into it until like maybe later that year. That's because I was going into my junior year of high school. I just got my license. So back then, no, I just got my permit. My bad.
I will say, if I was a freshman and you were
sophomore, yeah. And we're like you're just about to, when it was released, that's where we were. But when I started listening to it, it was one of 2 or 3 CDs my mom kept in her Durango. And I mean, when I mention this Durango, I mean like old school 2005, like silver on 22 chrome rims, like Durango. Like my mom was not playing back then. So growing up, that was it. Like, so whenever I would get my permit and I'm driving to work, obviously, because we met at school, but we became friends at our job at Papa John's. So like whenever I'm driving the Durango, I mean I'm 16, fucking whipping something on 22s. Like
feeling like a badass.
I'm feeling good. Like this, there's a certain feeling you get when you're posted up, lean back in that seat, and you just hear the V8.
16-year-old kid.
Yeah, just V8 in that Durango, just letting it rip, and pulling up to a light, and you just hear me just like singing Chris Brown. Like there's something about it. But
Good times.
This album was one of the CDs that we always kept. Another album, which is again another one of my favorites because of this era, and like I could play all the way through with no skips, and that's Raymond versus Raymond by Usher.
Ooh, so that's a good album too.
We'll probably go through that too on a different time, but like to set the mood, to set the scale, like these were what I listened to. Like obviously we had MP4 players back then, we had iPods back then, but it was very
showing our age here.
Yeah, like back then, especially with my mom's vehicle, we didn't have CarPlay. We didn't have like Bluetooth to connect to it. Like
but Bluetooth was even kind of in early stages back then.
Exactly.
Like, you just needed an aux cord.
Yeah. So, but back then, I didn't have that. So the only thing I could really listen to is physical copies.
Right.
So that's why we kept it. And
I mean, CDs were still big back then. I mean, I bought a bunch of CDs for my truck because I didn't have Bluetooth or I had aux, but I also would buy some CDs that I was into and just put it in the truck and just let it play.
Exactly. So we just kept those, and going through that timeline, and I mean, like, there's some, like 2010, 2011, there's some heavy hitting songs that we both love, whether it's rap or R&B or just like pop. Like we always had something to listen to. That was a time period that was really pinnacle, and I'm very proud to have had the opportunity to grow into that era. So again, setting the mood, 16 years old, like getting my permit, driving a Durango with 22s, and just rolling with F.A.M.E playing. And again,
you know the title F.A.M.E is an acronym, right?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I didn't look that up. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, I remember when the album came out. So the title's F.A.M.E, but it stands for Fans Are My Everything.
Yeah, I like that. That makes sense just because of the time period of where he was in life, especially when this album came out. Kind of just going through everything he was, and we'll touch base on that because I mean it's no secret what he went through back then.
Correct. I mean, but maybe for some of the people who may not know or weren't really around back then, it was a big part of this entire album and process because, like I said, we didn't know if he would really survive that whole situation. If people would still listen to him because it was pretty bad.
It was controversial. I mean, there was a lot of people on certain different sides, and it's just I think the one thing that we can always say with that, I guess we should kind of just everybody should know this, but obviously Chris Brown was involved in an altercation with his former girlfriend Rihanna at the time, domestic altercation, and obviously there's documentaries that came out. There's people have their own opinions, and
you can go Google and research the whole situation, and there's some more to it than just face value, but overall he's still mostly in the wrong for it. He definitely beat her up pretty good.
As a man, obviously growing up, we're always taught to never put your hands on a woman. So regardless of the situation, if we don't know all the details, it's only those two know.
Right.
Really truly know. So,
and they do seem to be, I guess, cordial nowadays.
Exactly.
And, like, they're good, and
exactly.
I mean, Chris Brown's apologized God knows how many times, and
that, and just like Rihanna has taken it, it's just like they both forgive.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, in my eyes, like, if those two have been able to forgive, then we have no room for judgment.
Exactly.
These years coming after,
and I know it's crazy, but they also, and not that it's an excuse, but they also were children too.
Yeah.
They were like 17, 18.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But yeah, going through that, obviously, and during a time where internet is just growing.
Yeah, it's growing
rampantly.
Social media is getting real big.
Yeah. So like we mentioned earlier, he was pretty much the first cancel culture person to take place in that art. So
Yeah, it was less like, yeah, if somebody caught you playing Chris Brown at the time, they're like, you support him, blah, blah, blah. And it's
Yeah,
like,
there's not a lot of people really fucking with him, and even his label at the time wasn't like, they're very hesitant with obviously the distribution, the money aspect of the whole album, because a lot of these songs he had the music videos for like Deuces and No Bullshit and She Ain't You, like they're all
Look At Me Now got a video too.
Yep, and they're all choreographed by the same person. I think his name was Colin. I think his last name started with F, but dude's name was Colin. And like, if you go back, and one of my favorite interviews with him is obviously the R&B Money podcast with him, Tank, and
we watched that one.
Yeah, and he kind of goes into detail and describes a little bit, like back then, like again, his label wasn't fucking with him, so like he had to pay for these music videos and to put these songs out and to make sure that this album is going to do what it needs to. Like, I believe some of these you can tell like the production was on the lower end, because just like he had to skim by, he had to make sure getting videos out, but like, again, wasn't fucking with him, didn't have the money like the money aspect to where like he can drop $100K on a music video. So like a lot of these videos were shot like, I think with $2,500. So you can tell that with the type of
I would imagine Deuces definitely seemed like a low budget. I mean, but at the same time there wasn't much to it, so it's like I feel like the Deuces video, you didn't really need a substantial budget for something like
so
that.
it was very minimalistic. You had like very few scenes. Same thing with She Ain't You and Yeah, Three Times. Yeah, Three Times is literally in a movie set on one street. That's it.
Yeah,
it's literally just one setting. So back in that time, it's just more along the lines of no one's really sticking by it, besides his like actual like real true fans. So going into this album again, you wanna name out the 6 singles?
6 singles?
Yeah.
Well, I thought Deuces was one, but you corrected me on that one. I would say No Bullshit was one. Yeah.
Yep. No Bullshit wasn't one, because that was actually supposed to be on his mixtape as well.
Okay, so see, both the 2 ones I thought. Well, I know Look At Me Now definitely was.
Yep.
She Ain't You.
Yep.
Beautiful People.
Yep.
Next to You.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 times.
Yep. And Wet the Bed would be the last one. So all of those, it kind of gets a little finicky because I believe Beautiful People was released after, like the music video was released after the
album came out.
The album came out. So technically, when the album came out, I mean, usually you release your singles
before the album. That's why like some songs that people do release as a single after the album, I don't consider those a single.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, I heard it already.
Yeah, exactly.
It
wasn't a promotional song before the album.
Correct. Like Save Your Tears off of After Hours by The Weeknd, that was not a single, but it got popular after the album dropped, and they're like, oh, let's make it a single, because I actually really liked it when that was the first like deep cut I actually liked off the album immediately when the whole thing came out. And then they put it out as a single later.
It's a marketing thing when it comes to that stuff. But those 6 singles, out of those, what's your favorite? Like, do you have a favorite out of those 6? Because I mean, they all have some different tones to them.
Yeah,
and different face values.
I would definitely say my top 3 out of the 6 would be Next to You, Beautiful People, and Look At Me Now.
Okay.
Beautiful People was one I went to a lot back then. I liked the tone, and I thought Bieber's feature was cool. They both can sing really well.
Yeah, I think with Beautiful People, that was I think it was produced by Benny Benassi.
Yeah,
and he's
very good production on that too.
Yeah, he's a very good. I think he's a Dutch producer. But the feelings that you're getting, again, like the Euro pop, the progressive house vibe, with the synthesizers that's used on the track list itself. I know that one was pretty much like encouraging people to really find their inner beauty.
Yeah, that's what I got from it.
Yeah, that was that track is pretty much just set on positivity, which was honestly, I think, as a marketing aspect, which is why I think they released it after, because it was so popular during that time. He was going through, obviously, the controversy. Having something with a positive outlook like that song, making a single made sense.
I agree.
Even after the album was already released, and that debuted at 45 on the Billboard Top Hot 100. So it was doing numbers back then.
I do think it also finishes off the album strong.
Yeah.
The production's good, and it's just letting everyone know that you're beautiful inside and out.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I guess I know you really didn't divulge too much in this album back in that day, but kind of describe like where you were at the time, because like how I was back in that time during high school, like set that tone for you.
Yeah. So I was just coming into high school. I had heard like I said, I guess songs I thought were singles, but I guess technically weren't. But I had Deuces early on. I believe it leaked, and I had it downloaded on my phone. And I think I had No Bullshit too. That must have leaked, because I had both of those first and really liked both of them. And then as slowly other singles came out. Look at Me Now was like so good. We hadn't heard anything from Busta Rhymes in years, and then he brought him onto that track. Yeah. And then Lil Wayne, of course, is top tier rapper at the time, like that's his pinnacle moments. Like yeah, he had just come off, like No Ceilings had just come out like a year or two before, and he's just killing the mixtape game. We're anticipating the Carter 4.
What a fucking great album. I remember when that came out.
Yeah, that was a good one. I had bought that album. But yeah, I was just coming into high school, listening to a bunch of different music, really getting into Drake, really diving into him and his discography. He's the new hot thing that's on everybody's song. Everybody wants a feature from him.
Yep.
I guess, I mean, I don't have really anything, I guess, to bounce off about that time other than like you.
So tell me, when you heard Deuces,
okay,
when you first, like, if you can, the first time hearing Deuces, just describe that feeling. It's one of those, like you mentioned, it was during the mixtapes era. Like, the mixtape era is really strong coming out. So Deuces, Tyga, Kevin McCall, produced by Kevin McCall and written with Breezy and a few other people.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it immediately. Like I said, I found it online somewhere and I downloaded it, and I was intrigued by just a new Chris Brown song and had Tyga on it. And as soon as the beat dropped, I was hooked immediately. I was yeah. And I couldn't really relate to it at the time. I didn't have like a girlfriend or ex-girlfriend at the time, so I couldn't relate to it in that way.
Yeah.
But I love the vibe. It kind of, and obviously Drake wasn't out yet, but it kind of had like a Drakey, like 40
a little bit
vibe to it. And maybe that's kind of where like I fell in love with that type of sound. I just really do love the like late night atmospheric, like
something you can pop a top to. You can, you're rolling, and
then I guess the chorus is so catchy, where he's just like, hey, bye bye bye, say hey bye bye. Like, that shit is
so. During that time, obviously Deuces, I mean, for me, this is like innocent Zach. So like life has not done anything to me. So like, I'm still hopeless romantic. Like back then, just like, I had my high school flings. So like, obviously falling head over heels for any girl that
showed you attention.
Exactly. So like, just like having that fluster of emotion and just like being able to relate this, like, man, fuck that bitch, Deuces.
Yeah, right.
It's like one of those things where it's just like, all right, we're here, and it's relatable. I'm not that manish yet, where like I'm going through like an actual like real bad breakup or dealing with like the aftermath of significant other being somewhat, I guess, bitchy, and like having a bad. You good?
Yeah, I just got some gas.
Going. So at the time, just like I wasn't this mannish, going through like that type of like life, like relationship drama, but being able to, I guess, visualize myself going through that. I mean, obviously that's what music is. Just like if you can somewhat relate to like some piece of it, you can visualize yourself in that situation.
Right.
So like just going through that was one of the biggest things with that track. And again, it was a low production value music video, but it still hit. It just still hit. And then just after that, going into listening to it in the car, you got Up to You. This is one of my favorite. I think I'm gonna do. All right, real quick. Here we go.
Okay, but back to Deuces. So what would you give it? Out of 10.
Man. Given the face value of the time period when it came out, I think it's one of my highly rated songs back then. Just like it was always on repeat, so I'll probably give it a 9. It was one of those to where, like, again, not skipping it.
Yeah,
it set off the album nice.
Very good introduction to the album.
Exactly, because you knew exactly. Again, the production behind every song was thorough with the producers involved, but for, again, the time period of not really having the label like fucking with them, and this initially supposed to be on the mixtape, that to see it come to a fruition and actually have the impact and do the numbers that it did, is amazing. So I think that holds a lot of face value to me.
I would also give it a 9. It's to this day still one of my favorite Chris Brown songs. I go back to it often. My favorite from the album, and it, like I said, definitely sets off the album well. And I don't know how good that whole album would do without it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely one of the highest introduction tracks that I can think of whenever I think about songs that just set the mood very right. I want to kind of go into, again, I want to make this a little different. Let's go through the tracks real quick, just names. 1, Deuces. 2, Up to You. 3, No Bullshit. Then you got Look at Me Now featuring Busta and Wayne. She Ain't You, which is the Michael Jackson tribute. Say It With Me. 3X, Next to You featuring Justin Bieber. All Back. Wet the Bed featuring Ludacris. Oh My Love. Should Have Kissed You, and Beautiful People. Those are the 13 tracks. So I kind of want to go and, again, make this different. We already just listed off the tracks. So tell me what is your favorite 3 tracks and the tracks you didn't feel. Because I'm very intrigued to see what tracks we're going to kind of like rub heads off of.
Okay. I guess my top 3 would have to be Deuces, No Bullshit, and Look at Me Now.
Okay.
I really love the R&B vibe of like No Bullshit. Obviously, it's him and talking about, I guess, what he's gonna do when he gets home with his girl, and
3 in the morning.
I'm horny.
Man. So quick little story on that one. So before that was released, he was very skeptical of it. But he
well, maybe it might have been a little too vulgar even for that time.
I think, again, he was, during that era, it's like, you'll hear me use this term mannish, because he's still young. He's like 18 at that point. And it's still like, yes, we've heard Take My Time by this point, and that was probably his first, like he ain't a kid anymore. He's an adult. But like, these are the tracks where like it was stepping stones into all right, like now, like I ain't no kid anymore. Like we talk about this.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about it. We getting busy. So when I use that term, that's what I mean. Like he was getting into his own, and he was starting to talk a certain way to women, to where it was more seductive, more about like, all right, this is what I want, this is how it's going to be. Like we're getting a little bit more in depth with that type of language.
Yeah,
like love language.
Yeah, he's definitely getting more R-rated.
Yeah,
for sure.
So like during that time, again, like I said, it was supposed to be on In My Zone mixtape for his, but he played it for Jay Valentine in the studio one day, and from what Jay was saying off of one of the podcasts, it's just like bruh, you gotta drop that like yesterday.
Yeah,
like yesterday. Like
yeah,
like it's just, he already knew it was a hit from the jump. So just to hear that, it's always a good feeling to hear that. But not to go off tangent, yeah, that was one of the ones where it's like we're talking some grown shit right now.
Yeah.
So I could definitely could see like more of the coming from you. I could have guessed that the rapping tracks would have been your favorite. Yeah, because again, this is, I know it's a little bit more of has a electro house Euro pop feel to it. It's a little bit more like high on the synthesizers when it comes to the melodies and the beats behind it. So yeah.
Now, as far as songs that I really didn't like,
Here we go.
So these are my top 3 least like ones. So I got Say It With Me, gave that one a 4. Oh My Love, gave that one a 3. And Should Have Kissed You, gave that one a 3.
Why am I mad?
So
I don't get it.
For Oh My Love and Should Have Kissed You, they come in at a song 11 and 12 back to back, and I just felt like they were filler songs.
Yeah.
For me, they were like easily skippable. Nothing really pops out. And I think 11 and 12 together are kind of repetitive. Like 12 is, he's talking about how he blew his chance with some girl.
Yeah,
and
just missing opportunities with a woman, and then obviously talking about how if he got the opportunity again, he's not missing it.
Yeah, and it's like we've heard that, we've had that. That's kind of a played out theme in R&B.
Yeah.
And because most of this album is pretty high quality, and just at the tail end for those pretty much the last 2, I felt like they were just fillers. And then he does finish off strong with Beautiful People, though.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to R&B, we already know like real R&B, like men are simping.
Yeah,
over women. So that's what it's supposed to be. We're supposed to cater to the women.
Yeah.
But I can see what you mean about 11 and 12. Oh My Love and Should Have Kissed You were fillers.
And then 6, Say It With Me, I gave that one a 4. It was just kind of, I guess you could say, the first kind of filler song, in the middle, because it's number 6, so it's coming after the top 5 strong. Deuces, Up to You, No Bullshit, Look at Me Now, and She Ain't You.
Yeah.
And then that one just kind of, I think, drops the
I think it was more along the lines of like, yeah, it is a filler, but still trying to keep that upbeat, like, feel good.
It drops the momentum a little bit.
And the momentum of the album, but I feel like still the energy could be there just because of the beats behind it. Because it does fit the theme and with the overall theme of the album. Like, they're very similar when it comes to the vibe that you're gonna get.
Right.
Again, these are gonna be songs where you're gonna hear them in a house, like either a rave or a concert, just playing house music, and it's gonna be one of those. Those are gonna be the songs.
Yeah, that's why, like, when it comes to music, one of my big beliefs is quality over quantity. Like, an album can have 4 songs, but if they're absolutely perfect, I would play that over a bloated 16, 17, 18 song track album with nothing. Like, all the songs are just there, and they don't.
See, even with those 3 songs, I know that you probably feel like they don't have as much face value or like really like meat and potatoes behind it. But even like Oh My Love, just strictly just talking about basically saying like we're talking about someone that you've been in a relationship with, but like things are starting to dwindle a little bit, but still like try to recapture and like keep everything and be positive with not letting you go.
Yeah.
So like, there's still face value within the lyrics. It does. I will agree. Those 3 songs, they're very similar. You could probably put them in the filler category for the album. But I still think that honestly, I think they still are great songs, and I can't skip either of those.
Okay. Yeah, I skipped all of them. Like when I got to 11 and 12, I wrote my little note, and then I got to then because I knew I had already liked Beautiful People at the end. So I was like, all right, I've heard enough of these, heard enough of that. It's with me.
Yeah. Like Say It With Me. Crazy chorus. Crazy switch up at the
See, I didn't think like really anything popped out about it. So weird. I was like,
say it with me, babe.
Like I said, I really felt the album momentum just drop when that track came up, because I was listening fully up until I got there, up to that song, and then I did skip that one.
Yeah, I knew
halfway through.
I knew there was going to be some songs where it's just like, man, you ain't feeling it.
Yeah,
you ain't feeling it.
I ain't gonna lie. Up to You, I wasn't really feeling that well either. I gave that one a 5.
My mouth is dropped right now. You can't see this. The listeners can't see this, but my mouth is dropped.
Okay.
Up to You? Homie.
Here it comes.
Oh my God. So,
well, real quick, he's professing his feelings for his girl, and he doesn't want to mess it up.
Felt that, relate to that too many times.
He's leaving how the relationship goes up to her. Like, she's got all the balls in her court type stuff. And
yeah,
I don't know. I just
again relate to that.
Another tired theme in R&B, and it's just like, I feel like you can do a little bit better.
I feel like that's what R&B is, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's just trying to find different ways,
because you got to
talk about
same thing,
same topics, but
that
make it your own.
Yeah, that one is just, it seemed kind of dry.
Melody was right. Vocals were right. Oh my God.
To each their own.
But that's actually one of my top 3.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like that's I have an R&B collective playlist that I just accumulate. That's on that.
Jesus, that's pretty weak. What? I mean, listen, man, to each their own. I always say,
all right, I need a new podcast host, man.
Oh my God. We haven't even, that's like our first somewhat disagreement. It's not even that bad, because I know there's going to be ones that gets a real hostile.
There's going to be some yelling. Yeah, I know. But Up to You, that's one of my favorites, especially as number 2 on the album.
That's not like I gave it a 1. I gave it a 5.
You might as well just give it a 1 at that point, to be honest.
Okay.
So,
10 or nothing.
To which is your own. Yes. So, all right, me. Because this is about me today. So, I mean, like I said, I can go through this whole album without skipping a beat. And my top song on the album is on the expansion pack. But since we're going to stick everything to just the basic, the original album with the first 13, I'm gonna go Wet the Bed with Ludacris again.
Okay.
When I tell you,
I just looked at what I rated that one too.
What? Fucking God! When I think about this again, I'm 16 at the time, bumping all this stuff, but like. Wet the Bed. That was another mannish song, like, no bullshit.
And at 16, you had no business.
I had no fucking business listening to anything along this nature. I would honestly like Wet the Bed and Birthday Sex by Jeremiah during this time.
Bro, Birthday Sex, I was in middle school with that one. I think I was in like 7th grade when that one came out.
I was still bumping it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Still bumping it. But no, this is just conversation with a woman. Like, again, he's still young. I mean, he's young enough at the time, but he's growing into that that adult stage to where like he's 18, and at this point in time, like you start making your way through some older women.
Yeah,
to test the waters,
Yeah.
But just having a conversation, just vibing with her, and just building up the lust. Honestly, I saw it as being romantic, but having like that dominating tone to like, hey, like this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah, this is what's gonna happen.
This is what's gonna happen, and then just taking control. That's why I love it. It sits well with me just because of the things I'm into.
Yeah.
And just I'm gonna be honest.
Now that
everybody loves a squirter, so.
And now that you're older, you've had a few women wet the bed for you.
It resonates very well. It resonates very well. So I'm gonna put that as my number one.
Number one song, and you
my top off the album.
Okay, what would you rate it?
That's a 10. That's 10. I got that on my late night playlist.
Okay.
So like that, it's been there.
I feel like it's a little too upbeat though for like setting the mood though.
Man, listen, just depends on your stroke game, man.
True.
Depends, because you got to think. All right, how I see this, and we both love music. We both had this conversation yesterday about like a room specifically for music.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking little candle lit, some wine here and there, some late night conversation, and then like some witty banter, some back and forth. But like, hey, like you turn that switch,
Definitely, I could see it like starting the night,
and then like you turn that switch for a more like dominating tone, taking a little bit of control, but still like being like you're catering the woman.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's a good starter.
For sure.
It's a good starter. So I'm going to give it a 10. I'm going to be honest. That's just me.
All right.
I'm a big person when it comes to setting the mood. I like creating energy. That's just me. And I feel like that does wonders for setting the mood off and starting to see what energy comes out of it.
All right. I thought it was a pretty decent song. I gave it a 6.
Mm-hmm. Fucking terrible. Fucking terrible.
I gave it a 6. Obviously he's talking about, fucking a girl, getting her wet, and, how good the sex is about to be. I kind of felt like it was a no bullshit 2.0, just not as good. So that's where I was just like, okay. I thought Ludacris had a really good verse on it. I liked him. I thought it kind of picked up the song a little bit.
Luda's verse on that is fucking killed it.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I gave it a 6, because without Luda, I probably would put it at like a 4. Because like I said, no BS it's pretty much a no BS 2.0 for me. Mm-hmm. And I like the vibe of no BS a lot better. It's a lot more sensual, and that one you could put on and just
I wasn't expecting that.
Hey man, you're trying to change it up, We're trying to see how this podcast can roll now.
Man, I'm gonna make your body wetter than ever before.
And what if you don't? What if you don't?
I'm gonna make your body wetter than ever. We'll get together. You can tell as soon as I approach you. When you're feeling uptight, get it right. Don't fight. Lighten up like Sammy Sosa. Women call me the super soaker.
Those are some pretty high expectations. What if you don't? What if you don't meet them?
I mean, that's on you.
That's on me. I'm not the one saying I'm gonna do all that.
Okay. Then stick in your lane. Worry about the lane I'm putting myself in.
Right. My bad. Yeah. I'm not at that level yet. I don't. I'm still a rookie.
Yeah. So Wet the Bed is gonna be mine. Again, up to you. Probably gonna put it at number 2, and then All Back. All Back is just one of those songs where you're just reminiscing the feelings of losing your significant other that you gave your heart to, and I can relate to that. That's me.
Sure. I think we all can.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah.
It's
everyone's got a girl that got away.
Yeah, the one that got away. That hits home because I'm going through that right now.
Yeah, I know. We talked about that.
Yeah, that hits home. So, it's just one of those where you can just sing your heart out. Turn down the lights a little bit, or if you're in the car, crank it, windows down, and I'm just cruising. I'm singing my heart out.
Yeah.
No ambitions to care about what people are going to think of me if they're pulling up next to me in the car. or what my neighbors are hearing if I'm at the house. But just pour your heart out, man. That's it. That's why I love it.
To each their own. I have my own, I guess,
opinion on it.
But I was gonna say I also have my own songs for, like, I guess when I'm feeling that
period, and that emotion of time.
Yeah. I gave this one a 6.
Say you don't like the album, bro. Just fucking say you don't like the album. We can end the podcast right here. Like, we don't have to waste their time. Like, we can just...
Bro, it's not wasting the time. We're just... This is what this is about. Like, we're not going to agree on everything. I like the album as a whole. It's got a lot of good songs. I don't think a 6... It's closer to a 10 than a 1, so it's not that bad, you know? Yeah.
I'm giving him the side eye right now.
And you know, it just seemed like another just basic song for me.
Basic. This motherfucker.
You know, not skippable. I could definitely listen to it. I didn't put skippable on it. I listened to the whole thing. It just, nothing about it made me want to go back to it.
Okay. Touche.
I mean, I could listen to it. Like, obviously, you know, if we were in the car and you were playing it, I could definitely listen to it. I'm not gonna be like, can you please change this?
So, I'll be honest. Going through this, like, before we set the podcast idea up, I already knew this is not going to be one of the albums that you're going to praise highly to. It's like, it's a good, I think you would have thought it was a good album for sure.
Yeah.
But I knew it was going to be like,
wait till we do the Logic album.
Any fucking album we do on that is going to be, I think, all right, pause. Whenever we fucking do that, we're not just doing just one album. We have to go over the discovery, because you don't like Logic in general.
I mean,
you don't.
I've listened to his newest one. Was it
Ultra 85?
Yeah, I listened to it, and if we do one on that, I got a couple of songs I like off it, and I'll listen to it again and really take notes. And
yeah, I already knew this album wasn't going to be one of the ones where it was going to be high on your list. I already knew that. I mean, coming from we have very similar tastes in music, but there are a lot of like differences in what I like, which is obviously definitely okay.
Yeah.
Which makes our conversations that much greater.
Which is why I wanted to do a podcast.
Exactly. So having that idea of, I already knew there's going to be some kickback. Perfect. We're good.
Yeah.
But this is about me. It's about me.
True.
So I'm going to go, let's move around a little bit. Obviously, Yeah 3X, that released back in October of 2010, that hit, I think, the music industry by storm. I think that's easy enough to say. Because of the catchiness behind it. Again, it had a very low production value when it came to a music video, but like whenever, that was like a pinnacle for like party music back then.
Yeah.
When it first came out, like you could not go anywhere or listen to the radio without hearing that at least 3 times a day.
Yeah.
No pun intended. No pun intended. So
maybe they initially or intentionally played it 3 times because it was called
probably
3 times.
That makes more sense. I think I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. So we also had that No Bullshit. Obviously, that was one of the renowned singles that came out. So I want to talk about She Ain't You. I think one of the pinnacle songs on the album, and I want to say it's one of the pinnacles not only because it's the Michael Jackson tribute, because we all know Chris Brown has always had an admiration for Michael Jackson.
Major influence on his career.
Exactly.
You know, just from his ability to dance and obviously R&B, his style of music. Mm-hmm. And Michael Jackson's an inspiration for a lot of artists for different reasons.
Yeah. So
was this a sample from a Michael Jackson song?
So yeah, it sampled Human Nature by Michael Jackson. And it also
pick up on that.
It also sampled Sisters with Voices, Right Here. That's another early 90s R&B group. Not a lot of people know about. But yeah, basically the consensus of the song is just talking about missing an ex while in a new relationship.
And I did write this question I wanted to ask you. Do you think this song is about him missing Rihanna? Because of the time period?
Yeah, I think because there's a lot of, I think when you get down to the emotion behind music and just emotion behind like a human being in general, again, this is a time where a lot of controversy is going on. He knows he's made mistakes. I can genuinely say for a lot of people think that he actually did love that girl. So,
yeah, 100%.
So and obviously it's Chris Brown. He can pull any woman, to be honest. So
yeah.
And when it comes down to that, you're missing face value in a relationship if it's just there. Like if it's just some random girl, like you're not going to get the same affection, you're not going to get the same love, you're not going to get the same connection like how you would from someone that you had a deep relationship with, like obviously Rihanna. So I think to an extent this song could be about her. People could make that connection. Yeah,
and especially around the time period. I mean, that's a major thing going on in his life, the whole domestic violence situation, and just him and Rihanna just breaking up because of it. I mean, that's got to be a major influence in a lot of the writing for these songs.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he's talking about Rihanna in majority of these. Like, I also wanted to ask you a question about Deuces. Do you think it is like kind of his goodbye to Rihanna?
I don't think so, because there was some bad connotation like with the talk and words that he was using.
But that's the thing, though. He could feel both ways. Like, he could also be angry with her and miss her.
Yeah.
He at the time wouldn't really know how he fucking feels about her.
And we don't know all the details. I mean, I've heard some accusations, quote unquote, of like she was the one that initiated the fight and was hitting him.
Yeah.
So like we don't know exactly what went down. So those could be valid feelings that he could be that he felt in Deuces. So again, I think you're right. You can feel both anger and then still miss someone. If they're bad for you.
I mean, he could have just been angry just at the whole situation in general, not even so much her.
Yeah.
But I would imagine just the time period was weighing heavy on his brain and emotions with everything going on. Because I know they really did care and love each other. And I've even looked at other people that Rihanna's been with, and it's just like she kind of seems like a bitch. I ain't gonna lie. But maybe that's because maybe she truly never felt the way she felt about Chris Brown, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But obviously there's no going back from that.
I think that connection is one in a million, because even after the years passing, like whenever we've seen videos of her at other music awards places and he's performing, and like her watching, like her reaction, her facial expression is like an expression of she's proud and she's happy for him. And like you could tell that from the face. There's no mean grudge, there's no like RBF, there's no like hostility. It's always been out of love.
Correct.
So again, when you get into, and we've all had that one relationship where we've had that, it's just the connection was so good, but it was also like very toxic.
Yeah, in ways.
Yeah. So I mean, what may you think be good for you, maybe your tipping point and be the one that really infects you badly. Yeah. You just got to cut it off before it gets too bad. So it's one of those things. No, I believe people can make that connection with She Ain't You. So obviously, when we're talking about this timeline, Michael Jackson passing away in 2010 hurt everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even at my age when it happened, I honestly wasn't really listening to Michael Jackson at all. I didn't really listen to him until I got a little bit older. Obviously, like when we were really young, he had all that, the child molestation thing going on, and it's just like, obviously, when you're a little kid, you're just listening to what the adults are saying, and they're all like, oh yeah, he did that. But as you get older and you really do your own research, it's like, no, he didn't do that.
And that's the importance of not letting the internet fill your mind. Do your own research.
Correct. And that's with everything. Politics.
Have an open mind. Have your own opinion.
Correct.
All right. And don't have anybody skew your opinion just because of a video.
Or just because, like, a majority of people are thinking one way. Have your own opinion. That's one of the beauties of America, is we have freedom of speech and we can form our own opinions. And everybody's entitled to their own opinions. I don't have to agree with your opinion. Like, we're going over these songs.
Exactly.
We can disagree, but that's cool. That's how you learn and grow.
Yeah, that's how just having an open mind and open heart. Michael Jackson passing away in 2010 definitely hit, I think, the nation really hard. Just the impact that he had over the last 30 years in music alone.
Correct.
Was a lot of our parents grew up with him. Some of our parents actually grew up with him as well, especially when the Jackson 5 first started getting started
in the 60s.
Exactly. Losing him was a very pinnacle thing in the music industry, and it hit some people harder than most. In this video, I mean, again, it's a tribute to Michael Jackson himself. So you can see him in the white suit, black fedora, just like how in Smooth Criminal. There's definite similarities in the music video. And then coming from that, but also having his BET tribute performance for Michael Jackson in 2011, I believe. I think that's right. Have you ever watched that video?
I have not. I don't even think I've never seen the music video for She Ain't You. We'll have to watch that later.
So I remember watching that BET Awards live with my mom back in, I think we were living in Planners Retreat over in Lassen, and I remember the day where we watched and saw the breaking news with Michael Jackson passing away. And I've always been a big Chris fan since I was little. So and my mom loved watching award shows, BET Awards, Grammys, everything like that. She was a big like music person when it came to like American Idol and stuff like that. We always watched that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I remember watching that award show live, and you can't make up the heart-wrenching feeling of performing your idol's music and then breaking down on stage and not being able to finish the songs.
Yeah.
Like, when you watch it, and I highly recommend that you do at some point, like at least like maybe later today, just look it up and you can tell the hurt and the disappointment of like obviously losing such an icon in the music industry, and just an icon within himself too as well, that he idolized growing up. Hear it in his voice, can't get words out, like that moment where your chest is just overtaken by emotion and you can't get anything out. Like that emotion was literally that performance. I think it's probably one of the most real performances that the BET has probably ever had.
Okay, shit. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that.
But yeah, this is sampling Michael Jackson's Human Nature, and again, Sisterhood Voices right here. And again, music video tributes him, and I think it made sense. It made sense in the time period it came out. It fit within the album because of what it was talking about as well. And I think for him, just to have something to remember his idol by within his own reflection and his own music was probably a big step and probably a big achievement for him.
Absolutely.
So that's why I really like She Ain't You. It hits a lot. It hits, especially if you know the sentimental value behind it. And if you didn't know about any of these topics, then definitely do your research and look into it. It's a pretty cool story. But yeah, I think that's probably the most sentimental song on this album.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was that like a 10 for you?
I think so. Yeah. Again, it's one that me personally I'm never gonna skip. And just like you, divulging into the meaning behind songs makes the song more impactful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
On my end than anything. And there's still things that I'm learning to this day, even about things about Drake and we went over that one topic the other night that we never knew, and it shocked me, but it was a pretty cool like detail and like fact to know. Like, music is I would consider music being the long game. Like, there's so much behind it, and that you're gonna miss. And correct. This is why we're here. Yeah, we're here to talk about the things that you're gonna miss.
And it's so much to go over and study, to be honest. And there's just gonna be parts you're just not ever gonna find out or get. I mean, something I always think about, and I've told a couple people this to just get their idea on what they think about it, but think about how much music that you would absolutely love that you'll never hear.
When you say that, the one thing that comes to mind,
because how many of us have like just came across a song that's been out forever off maybe an album that's been out forever, and it might even be from an artist we don't really mess with, but we hear it and we're like, oh shit, I like that. So like, you liked it immediately.
So when you say that, the first thing that comes to mind is literally Timberland and Aaliyah, just them whenever she was still alive, and them collaborating, just the music that they made. Timberland has came out and said they have over 300 songs together that he cannot release because of her family not wanting it to be released, which is, I get it, obviously we're respecting their wishes, but like, from a music fan, especially being an Aaliyah fan,
and I think that they should allow it to be released because of the situation and how many fans she still has, and she wasn't,
and her love for the music that she created.
Right, and there's really not much music out right now from her because of her untimely death. So if she's got a back catalog that's underground,
and especially being Timberland, being the producer for it, he is not going to do any of that wrong.
Absolutely,
at all. So that's going off topic, but you're right. What you said, that's literally the first thing that came to mind. There's going to be things that you don't even know, and you're never going to know. And we're never going to know those songs.
Your entire life, just for whatever reason, there'll be songs out there that you would like if you heard it, but you're just, for whatever reason, just never going to hear it. Because it might be a genre you don't really like, or an artist you don't really like, and it's just something you
there's been songs in the last week where I've had people just send and just like, listen to it.
That's why, like, if an artist that I like decently drops a new album, that I'll just put it on just to put it on. Just to see.
You're gonna find something in that album.
Correct. So something. I try to listen to as much music as I can every day. New music drops every Friday, so I try to, and I'll even maybe go outside some of my favorite genres every now and then, because I'm always looking for something new to listen to.
I like it. I mean,
so She Ain't You, 10 for you.
That's what probably the most sentimental song on the album.
My bad.
Sentimental song on the album, and just the face value that it creates. Because again, like I said, if you don't know the meaning behind it, do the research, listen to it, backtrack, and just actually divulge into it, especially if you like the song. I think it would create more of it would create more of a heartfelt value to you once you know that. I feel like
absolutely.
If you're a fan of music, you're gonna enjoy it regardless.
Be another 6 for me.
All right.
It didn't really touch me that much, I guess.
Like Michael?
We just talked about
that was a joke. It was a joke. Just like how your 6 is a joke.
Again, it's closer to 10 than 1. So, just, you know.
You know what? Because I don't know shit. I mean, I don't know why you did a 6.
It just I didn't feel anything from it, you know. It was, I remember it back in the day. It seemed a little played out to me. Again, I did pick up that I think he was talking about Rihanna with like, this girl ain't you, that girl ain't you.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, he doesn't have the feeling from any other girl that he got from Rihanna, especially with the situation being fresh. And that song, he may very well have written that like a couple weeks right after everything had happened.
Maybe. I mean, because that man has catalogs and catalogs of songs.
Yeah. We're talking about stuff that's unreleased. I mean, God only knows.
To this day. So, I don't agree with it, but that's what we're here for. I'm just gonna let that one ride, and yeah, fucking 6, man. All right. There's only one more song that we got to touch base on that I really want to touch more on is Next to You with JB, because I have to see the timeline, because they did 3 collaborations this year of 2011, and this being one of them. I don't know if this is the first, but it was in that same time period, so it's kind of hard when obviously they were recorded and when they're released. So one of the first collaborations with Biebs, 7th Streeter actually wrote this song, and she's a co-writer for a lot of these songs on the album as well.
Who?
7th Streeter?
Never heard of her.
Never heard of her? Man, that's an she is an R&B artist and songwriter that needs to be saved. Like, they worked a lot together, actually.
Okay.
And they're pretty good.
I'll have to check her out.
I know Busta has mentioned her a good bit. I'm gonna send you a song by 7. It's probably one of my favorite. It Won't Stop by her, and Before I Do. I'll send you those. Those are probably the top for me.
Okay.
And It Won't Stop actually has Chris on it, so they work a lot together, and she makes some really good R&B music. But Next to You with Biebs being on it, this is around that time period where Biebs is still up and coming. This is, it's probably around the same time with Biebs doing right Here with Drake, and around that time period as well. And so like those features are just rolling in, and we're getting the vocals from early Biebs. We're getting the vocals from Brown. I think it's a great of a song. So I thought the focus of the song was like just 2 people overcoming difficulties in a relationship and sticking by each other. That's what I got.
As like friends?
No, as in a relationship.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like they're both talking about how the girl means everything to them, and they'll always be by her side no matter what. I know they're going through some relationship issues right now, but they're both basically letting their girl know they're not going anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. So the initial theme of the song is still very basic, but when you put Biebs and Brown together, they've made great music.
Yeah, I love,
even to this day.
I love the production on it. I love the flow. That was one of my favorites back when it came out. I really enjoy the song.
Nice. What would you give it?
I gave it an 8.
Okay.
A little bit better.
Okay.
A little bit better. Not gonna yell at me.
All right. Yeah, I'd give it an 8. I think it's better than She Ain't You. Oh no, I think it's not better than She Ain't You, but but it's an opinion base. Yeah. So we're here to debate. I'd give it an 8 too. I think it falls perfectly within the featuring of the album. The whole album itself had great features. And just to have Biebs on it, good selling point. Good introduction for Bieber and Brown to have one of their first collabs.
Yeah, because at the time Bieber was still kind of new to the game.
Yep.
He's just that cute little pop star from Canada. All the girls loved him and shit. And,
yep.
So he at the time he didn't really have many features himself. He wasn't really featured much on, and then he started branding into other genres and stuff.
Obviously, with his first features being Brown, Ludacris, Drake, and Usher. Those are really like his first few features, which is when you're coming up in the game, those are some heavy hitters.
Yeah, Usher snagged him right out the gate for other purposes, but that's a whole nother conversation.
I'm a little speechless right now. Try not to laugh. Yeah. that's definitely another topic. So, yeah. Other than that, I mean, I think that's all I got. Like, I think.
Okay, so this album overall as a whole, what would you rate it? And as far as a album in your whole collection of discography that you go back to, how often do you go back to the album as a whole?
Often, because like I said, there's of 3 albums that I have blatantly and continuously say they're the most consistent and concise albums that I true-heartedly believe. 1, Nothing Was the Same by Drake. 2, Fame by Chris Brown. 3, Raymond vs. Raymond by Usher. Those are always in repeat. Some not, like, obviously you take your time spurts. Like, it doesn't come, like, you'll listen to it here and then wait a few months. But I mean, obviously the songs are always in rotation in the playlist.
Yeah.
But as a whole, very often, more than a lot of the albums I have on my playlist in general. What was the first question?
What would you rate the album as a whole?
I'm going to rate it a 9.
Oh, okay.
Again, to me, it's very concise. I like an album where I don't have to skip. I can just play it all the way through. The theme of it is very through and through. It's not all over the place. Yeah, some songs may sound similar, but if there's a theme to the album, you're going to have that.
Yeah.
You're going to have that. It's a work of art, and honestly, everybody can have their own opinion, but from what he released, I think it's great.
Awesome.
Especially from that time period. It was a time period that you can't really deny.
Where would you put it, like, top 5 of his albums? Where would you put it? If you were to take his 5 best albums,
probably,
that you think, where would
probably
you put
1 or 2.
1 or 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a tough spot. Because you got to put the first album up there. That's a classic.
Yeah, his debut album.
Mm-hmm. That's got to be 1. And again, it comes in phases because his debut album has so much face value just because of what it is.
Yeah,
that's a classic, and it's always going to be a classic for him.
Yeah.
I think Fame's going to be up there. And
what was the second one? Exclusive with that's got Wall to Wall and Kiss Kiss.
Oh, Wall to Wall.
That's honestly one of my favorite albums.
Crumpin' and shit.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm probably gonna put 3 as Indigo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a long album too.
Or actually, not Indigo. Under Pressure. Under the Influence. My bad. Under the Influence. That's 3 for me.
That's a song though, yeah.
It is Indigo. My bad. The album Indigo.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, you're good.
My bad. We'll cut that out.
No, we won't.
We won't cut that.
We don't need to cut that out.
That shit. Fuck it. We all make mistakes.
It's part of the comedy.
Yep.
I guess I would give the album as a whole.
Here we go. What we doing?
I'd give it a strong 7.
I can live with that.
I think it starts off very good with Deuces, then no Up to You, No Bullshit, Look at Me Now, and She Ain't You. I do think those first 5 do blend well together and good, and then you get to kind of the middle and it loses momentum a little bit, but then it kind of picks back up and strong. It's the whole album is not unlistenable. Mm-hmm. Like, I could definitely still put it all on and just listen to it. Yep. Like, it's nothing
like the Big X album I sent you.
Yeah that was just, that's another episode for
wild.
But for this album, definitely something I could put in the background. Definitely something if we're on a road trip and you want to play the whole thing, I'm not going to be like, we can definitely listen to it for sure.
I can. That makes me happy. I can live with that.
Yeah, like nothing. Just the 11 and 12 back to back, I ranked them as 3. I just thought those were very, very the most basic and just similar songs that were big filler. Yeah, that honestly probably didn't need to be on the album.
I can see that. I would probably. All right. I'm gonna actually let you finish, and then we'll go to that statement.
It could have been an 11-track album and still hit.
Yeah.
You know, I truly do believe, like I said earlier, about quality over quantity, that short albums with really good songs are so much better than just 20-track, 22-track, 18-track albums where you got like 6, 7, maybe even 8 songs that are just, why are they even on here?
Yeah.
Because when you could have gave me a solid 10, 11-track album where the whole thing is just fucking perfect.
Honestly, what I was gonna say is, instead of those 2 songs, and we're talking about "Oh My Love" and "Shoulda Kissed You," all right. Instead of those 2 songs, take 2 songs off the expansion pack and put it on.
Yeah, because you said your favorite is on the expansion. So which one is that?
"Beg for You."
"Beg for You." Okay.
Oof, my God. Yeah.
But why don't you give a little bit info on that? Because you said we only doing 13, so I didn't listen to that. So
you have "Bond" by Wiz Khalifa. You got "Love the Girls" with Ava Simone. "Paper Scissors Rock" with Timbaland and Big Sean. I would have loved that on the album as well. That's the second song. And "Beg for It," and then "Champion" with Chip.
okay.
So instead of "Oh My Love" and "Shoulda Kissed You" on the actual main album, I would have really preferred "Beg for It" and "Paper Scissors Rock" with those 2.
So those could have been 11 and 12.
Yes, those would have been heavy hitters. Did you listen to the expansion pack?
I did the first time I listened to it when we decided to do it. Just, but I didn't last night, so I need to just
those 2 songs I would put there. I think you would like those 2 songs in placement.
Probably.
That's definitely 2 different vibes.
Yeah.
It switches it up a little bit more, but also still stays in the realm of the whole form of the album.
I was about to say, I rated these 2 pretty low, so it wouldn't be hard to beat them for me. So
yeah.
I would imagine, those 2.
I think if you put those 2 songs in place of the original 2 for 11 and 12 on the track list, 10.
Okay.
10. 100%.
Oh, the whole album?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
10.
Okay.
10.
Because you put it, what, at
9?
9?
Yeah. I could do that. If those 2 changes were made, yeah. For me, 100%.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Other than that, you got anything to add?
No.
I think this was a really good. I like this.
Yeah, I liked it this way a little bit better too. What would you want to do for our next one?
We did The Weeknd last, right?
Yeah. So we've done obviously Drake album, The Weeknd, now Chris Brown.
Do you want me to pick the next one again, or do you want to pick it?
You can. If you don't really have anything, then I have an idea, but I'd like to.
I have a few ideas, but the next one I feel like we should come in with a list of like our top 10 rock songs. Like,
you want to do it? You want to do it?
Let's switch it up to a little bit of rock,
like classic rock.
We could do classic rock. We could do alternative rock. Whatever era specific that you want to hit, we can. But like top 10, and this.
You want to do top 10 songs?
Yeah, we can do that. Like our top 10.
Okay.
And then we can just kind of have that discussion on just like why they're in the top 10. Okay. Do you want to do era specific, or do you just want to do a broad range of just rock in general?
Well,
because there's a lot of different genres when it comes to rock.
Yeah, and I'm not anything past like 2006. I don't listen to because I think it's god awful.
It's alternative. But like, when we're talking about like obviously Disturbed.
Yeah, that's like early 2000s,
Daughtry,
late 90s.
Nickelback,
Yeah.
3 Doors Down, 3 Days Grace, like that stuff. That's where we kind of like draw that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not into any of the screamo fucking.
No, I'm not going to put you through that.
Yeah,
I like a little bit, but I'm not that divulged into it to really have a solid conversation for.
I don't know. I mean, you want to do classic rock, like 70s, 80s, 90s eras?
You can do that.
So you want to do top 10 songs?
Our top 10 songs.
Our top 10 songs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a broad range too. Yeah. So that's gonna be good.
That is gonna be good.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. This is Gavin.
This is Zach. Thank you for listening to What's Good Music podcast, where you can come and listen to our opinions and listen to what we like and what we don't like, obviously. Mr. Six over there. So, other than that, I think that's all we have for this week. So I appreciate the listen, and we'll catch you guys next time.
And of course, leave any comments about something you guys maybe want to hear us debate, or maybe is it a different type of genre or artist, and let us know what you think of this episode.
All right, I appreciate it. Later, guys.
Later.